That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
5, 4, 3.
If you can't get along, you better get it on. You should always have a chick while you on your throne. Nobody cares, you better stay alive. But for now we up to bat, we yelling hit or die. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's 2 for me, 1 for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's 2 for me, 1 for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring.
What's up, everybody? Jake H.I..R.DIE here with the HIT.OR.DIE podcast. Joining me via the phone is Chad Rothford.
This guy right here.
We promised to go live, but Chad's got a child that's sick, so we had to stay home today. But we promised to go live, so we're going live for you for the first time.
And for all you out there, probably like, oh, what's his wife doing? Oh, my wife wears the pants in the marriage and is a lawyer that makes the big bucks. So
don't most wives wear the pants though?
I mean, our wives. Well, at least my wife.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Mine does too. No, thanks for if you're listening live. Thank you for joining us live. Again, if you missed the live portion of this, it will repost to all of the podcast apps. To listen live, you need to go download the Spreaker app, and you can also do it via the desktop, which my cousin Andrina is probably listening, so shout out. She's texted me a couple times. Didn't want to miss it, so thank you, cousin.
Yo, Andrina.
Yeah, love her. She's been day one, hasn't missed an episode, which there are quite a few of those, so thank you all. Again, to get news on the show, go follow us on Twitter at HIT.OR.DIE Podcast, on Instagram at HIT.OR.DIE, and again, all the episodes are on YouTube. So, yeah.
That challenge is still going, by the way.
The YouTube challenge is still in effect.
The YouTube challenge is still in effect. We are, from the time we started, I think we're up about 70 to 100.
We picked up one today. So thank you. Thank you for all that go to YouTube and click subscribe. We appreciate that. We wanted to introduce, we'll have some guests going on a little bit later, but Paul Leffler is going to join us for just a brief moment, as is Dogs Barstool, covering the Fresno State Bulldogs. So they'll be joining us today. But first, let's start off by congratulating Dylan Lee.
Yes, well deserved.
He got his call up to the big leagues yesterday, or the day before, but yesterday was his first day in Arizona with the Atlanta Braves, and just an awesome story, man. I remember talking to him, and we've had a lot of conversations since his podcast, and he's just a fantastic young man, very giving, does a lot for the community, and to see him get rewarded with the work he's put in and the time that he's had to deal with certain adversity throughout his career, from even just potentially not playing anymore. It's the same with Loop, though. Like, you love to hear those stories where a guy doesn't play in junior high like Loop and finds his way to the big leagues, and then Dylan, who's had to grind it out, gets let go by Tampa, Miami, and gets picked up with Atlanta and just works his way through and continues to work, and nothing changes, and gets rewarded with a big league call up. Man, you love that kind of story. That's what it's all about.
Well, I mean, you put up the numbers too, So I mean, you have to do that, and I know a lot of people out there that follow Dylan have probably thought he should have been up a long time ago, but he's getting that opportunity, and he's a big supporter of ours, and we're definitely a big supporter of his. And shout out to Dinuba, man, because he's born and raised and loves that town more than anybody.
Yeah, and he's got a fundamental camp coming up. The dates are on our Twitter account, his Twitter account. Go check that out. Again, congrats to Dylan Lee, big supporter of ours, and we're just huge fans of him. And again, yeah, good shout out there to Dinuba. So the other thing that we need to get into, and I know it's been a couple days, but you had some MLB stuff. You had Manny Machado in the dugout get into Tatis a little bit. And I know over the years, especially you're not the biggest fan of, or you hadn't been, and neither have I. Like some of the shit he's pulled, with throwing the bat, or I think it was Aguilar with Milwaukee stepped on the back of his ankle in the postseason one time. Like he's done some stuff that's a little bush.
Mm-hmm.
But this, what was your take on this?
I loved it. I got a new respect for Machado. They're both superstars, right? Tatis and Machado are both superstars. And there was just a moment where, Tatis was doing Tatis, and that happens. And Machado was trying to just bring him down to earth and let him know that, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the team, that kind of stuff. And I loved it. I was actually pissed off that they apologized to the fans the next day, because I feel like that's something that we should see go on. It wasn't like they were fighting. It wasn't like they were throwing blows. It was one teammate holding the other teammate accountable, which is that not what we want as coaches and our players? They need to be held accountable. And here they are holding each other accountable, and then they have to apologize for it. That's just freaking, asinine to think that this is the day and age that it's come to that. That was a beautiful moment that kids need to see. Here's two superstars that could be all about themselves, and they're trying to make a race right now for the wild card, and they're holding each other accountable. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm with you. And I did see the stuff where they're, because cameras were near the dugout and it was very public. But, I mean, it's not like it wasn't a fight. Like he was, and Tatis, whatever, I don't know what his response was. I couldn't hear him. But, yeah, I'm all for it. Everybody knows you're the best player on the team. Like, you know what I mean? It's not about that. Go play baseball, I think is what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect. I loved it. I mean, I think I hit you up when I saw it, and I was like, I have new respect for this guy for doing that. Because he could easily have been a guy that people think is about himself as well. You know what I mean? And he's just, and they're boys. They're fine. They're going to be fine. If you have a best friend, you cannot tell me you've never fought with that best friend or had an argument. You know what I mean? So it's like, and they're teammates. They're close teammates. They're going to be on the left side of the infield for the rest of their careers together. This was nothing to be a big deal about, and it was actually really good to see that these type of players are holding each other accountable.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wanted your take. We hadn't really talked about it. We were trying to save it for this. I agree 100%, and they're probably past it. I'm sure they're past it, obviously.
I bet you they were past it before the game ended.
Yeah, and it's a good learning moment. Well, again, I don't think they needed to apologize for anything.
No.
There's a lot to take away from that. We're going to save some of the postseason talk as the regular season ends, because you've got 4 teams that have clinched right now. San Francisco at least clinched postseason's berths, but the Giants, the Dodgers, Milwaukee, and Tampa did last night. I think the Chicago White Sox are about to. I think they're 1 or 2 games away from locking up a spot also. And as that starts to get closer, and there's still about 9, 10, 11 games left for some teams, we'll get more into the postseason race. But a lot of stuff's been talked about as far as MVP race goes. And mainly, and it was a little more heavy last week with Ohtani and Vlad, considering Vlad was closer to maybe a possible Triple Crown run, and people were still saying, hey, Ohtani's the guy. Like, where do you stand on that one?
Well, at first I was like, he pitches every 5th day and he puts up offensive numbers. But then when you and I were talking about the numbers, I mean, 257, leads the league in strikeouts as a hitter. 45 home runs is very impressive. 95 ribbies, he'll probably get to 100. 9-2 with a 3.28 ERA, but he's he's 60 innings behind Robbie Ray that you said with, Robbie Ray's got 182 and Shohei's got 122. That's 60 innings. That's 8 or 9 starts.
Right. So he's technically 4th in the American League in ERA, but he's 40th in innings pitched.
Yes, you get the 8 or 9 starts, his ERA could fluctuate up or down. You don't know. And don't get me wrong, you talked about it. We talked about it earlier. What he is doing is by far one of the most impressive things in the history of the game of baseball since Babe Ruth doing both. But if you talk about the MVP, I think Vlad, like you said, he's possible Triple Crown. The numbers he's putting up, they're in the race, to get in the playoffs.
I don't know if he's going to get. I don't know if he's going to get RBI. I don't know if he's going to get that. He's close, but
he probably won't.
But think about it's the most valuable player. Who's the most valuable player? Who's the biggest asset to their team? And there is an argument for both. You're not the kind of guy that is one to say, well, they won their division or they made it through the divisional series. That this guy deserves to win the MVP, because you have a guy in Salvador Perez who has had a really good year. I mean, his average is not what, maybe some consider MVP worthy, but he's hitting 270.
276 is still high this day and age in baseball. To me.
I mean, yeah, considering what some of the numbers are, yeah, 100%.
Well, and plus he catches every day. He's squatting 150-plus pitches a game. He's still hitting the way he's hitting. The wear and tear on a catcher's body, I think there's no argument that it is the most of any position. And the numbers he put up, he just broke the record, Johnny Bench's record for most home runs in a season by a catcher, which I was surprised that, like Piazza didn't get close to it. You know what I mean? I was surprised some of these guys weren't that close to it. And Saldivar, broke it this year, leads the league in RBI, as you said. But I just feel like what Vlad's doing with a possible Triple Crown is ridiculous. Miguel Cabrera did it, I think, in 2012 or 14. But what he's doing for the Blue Jays, and I'm not saying Saldivar's not, a guy that is not needed for the Royals, but what Vlad's doing and them also being in the race with the Blue Jays, I just think, he's the MVP for me.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that either. I'm bringing up Saldivar Perez because they're done. I mean, they're eliminated from any potential postseason run, and to still put up those numbers, you are of the thought that that's harder to do. And and again, it's true to play on a losing team and still be one of the best players in the league. The thing with Vlad is I believe he's got more ABs than Ohtani. Shohei, I think, says like 500, just over 500, as of yesterday, just over 500 ABs with 179 strikeouts, and Vlad's sitting at 104, and he's leading in OPS, OBP, and slugging.
The fact that Vlad leads the league in on-base percentage, I could see slugging and OPS, but on-base percentage for the type of hitter that people want to say he is, as in a power hitter, which he is, but Vlad's a complete hitter. He's not just a power hitter. So for him to actually lead the league in on-base percentage, that is ridiculously impressive.
Yeah, while hitting 321, and he's tied for the lead in home runs with 46. So everybody's, when I'm looking at rankings and how they have this shown up, it's Shohei is 1, Vlad's 2, Marcus Semien, who's had a fantastic year, but his numbers, but I still think Saldivar Perez has shown better than Semien has. And again, for the most valuable player, has Semien been more valuable than Vlad? So I don't know. It's a interesting question. We won't. I mean, the season.
Imagine what Semien's done this year, getting kind of almost released or being a free agent. The A's signing a 1-year deal with the Blue Jays, and he's freaking just tearing it up.
And he had to move positions.
Yes.
So I'm there. I just think his numbers. I just like what Saldivar's done, and I don't know if it's been talked about enough.
100%. I'm with you. I would almost looking at the numbers that, you put the numbers up, I wouldn't even have Shohei at 2. I would almost have Vlad.
I mean, I have Vlad at 1. I'm saying what I see
I would
online.
have Perez 2.
Yeah.
I would have Perez 2 with the numbers. And then I would almost, depending on Shohei or Simeon, they're my 3 and 4, looking at the numbers for the American League. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Shohei. It's hard to go out and pitch. If he was like in the top 10 in innings and, all that kind of stuff, it'd probably make it a little different. But he's missed starts because of the dual position thing.
Well, and he's shut down for the year now too, right? He's not pitching the rest of the season, I believe. So
yeah, exactly.
That may hurt his case a little bit. I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to take away. It's just extremely impressive. There's no doubt about it. But I just think Vlad's mine at 1, and I don't mind having Shohei 2. I think Simeon and Saldivar Perez have an argument there. I wish they, Perez got a little more due. I don't think it's been talked about enough what he's done. Let's shift over to the National League real quick. You've got Bryce Harper leading the charge there with Tatis, Juan Soto, and again, not talked about enough, even though he had a slow start, was Freddie Freeman with the Atlanta Braves. And that's I'm not trying to be biased because I'm a Braves fan. Dude, the guy, he had a slow start, but he's so valuable to that ball club.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he plays every day.
He does. He plays a lot. I mean, he doesn't hardly ever miss. But, dude, Harper's been impressive, and they're right there in the hunt to get a wild card spot. I don't know if they're going to catch the Braves.
The Phillies wouldn't be where they're at without him. Without what he's done in the last couple months and stuff, like coming on strong, the Phillies wouldn't even be in the hunt.
And that's what it's about, right? That's what the MVP – I mean, that's the point.
Yeah. And Tatis, he has 40 homers now. I hit one last night. He's definitely up there.
But look at Freddie Freeman has what? Freddie Freeman has what? 130 more at bats than Bryce Harper, or no? Tatis, and about 100 more than Bryce Harper
and Juan Soto. Yeah.
So I mean,
that's a lot. People don't understand. That's a lot of at bats for your average and everything to fluctuate. Freeman's at 561 at bats, hitting 301. Juan Soto's hitting 316, but he's only had 468 at bats. If he has those extra 100.
Yeah, but it also, you're breaking up a little bit, but it also says a little bit about Bryce Harper's year. Considering he's had 100 fewer at bats, they're tied. Him and Freddie Freeman are tied in RBIs.
You know what I mean? And even Harper, he's at 454 ABs. If he had that extra 100, 110 at bats, he'd probably be at a 40 home run mark at least with 100 ribbies, and his average would probably be right at 300 or a little under 300, to be honest.
Right.
Which is still an MVP year.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there, so I didn't get to hear all that. But what I was saying with Bryce Harper is because he's had 100 fewer at bats than like Freddie Freeman. If you look at their totals, I mean, they're tied in RBIs, and Bryce has a few more home runs and also hitting 13 points higher. That's impressive to do that in 100. Give him 100 more at bats. Who knows? The average may dip a little bit, but the power numbers will probably go up.
Yeah, and that's what
Is that what you were saying? Okay, yeah.
I was saying, yeah, if you give him 100, 110 more at bats, he's probably over 40 homers. He's probably at 100 ribbies, and he's probably at around 300 or just under.
And there's another outcast there that I had noted was Nolan Arenado, right? And I know his average has dipped, 255 on the year as of yesterday, but he's got, I think, over 100 more ABs than Bryce Harper, and he's one of two guys in the National League over 100 RBIs for the year,
and 30 ribbies, and 30 homers.
Yeah, 30.
I think Duvall's the other guy.
Yes,
he's not even in the conversation.
Now there's still like 9 or 10 games left. There's going to be some more guys that break that 100 barrier, but again, are you focused on average or? For an MVP, like, is 255 too low?
Too low.
Too low.
Too low for me. For a superstar, and Arenado started off, slow too this year with the new team, new everything. But I'm not taking anything away from the season. 100 ribbies with 30-plus homers is unbelievable. But if that average was, say, 270, 265, 270, he's probably got close to 40 homers with close to 120 ribbies. You know what I mean? So, I mean, nothing to take away from him, but 255 just doesn't do it for me. I'd rather take, Freeman with 80 ribbies or, somebody with close to 100 ribbies in the same home run totals with a better average.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I'll take my pick for if I had to pick today, right now, in the National League, I got to go Bryce Harper. I think Bryce Harper's the MVP. In the American League, that's just going to come down to what people think, who was most valuable to their teams. To me, it's Vlad.
See, and you picking that, I'm with you with Vlad in the American League. I'm with you. But now I'm looking at these numbers that you put out. Tatis has almost 20 less at-bats than Harper, and he's got 13 more RBIs and 8 more homers. And he's still hitting 286. It's really tough. If the Padres make the playoffs, it's really tough not to have Fernando Tatis as the MVP. Because imagine if he has 130 more at-bats like Freeman. He's probably close to 50 jacks and 120 to 130 ribbies.
Would you say that the Padres have more help in that lineup than the Phillies do? The Phillies have a great lineup. I don't want to diminish their lineup, but I'm saying, Tatis, and he was hurt for a little while, but
yeah,
that plays a role too. I think, he's hitting nearly 30 points less.
They have Machado as the other superstar. Will Myers is good. The first baseman's been hurt a little bit. They just have good baseball players. With the Phillies, they have Real Muto, a superstar. Rhys Hoskins was once at that time. McCutcheon was really good at one time. I would almost
Connor
think
Brogdon is really good.
Connor Brogdon, Fresno City Ram, Liberty Rancho. I don't know. I think if you're in the big leagues, you're in the big leagues, and it's not like the Dodgers. There's a bunch of superstars, or the Yankees. I don't know. I don't think Tatis has as much help as Harper. I think they might be even.
Okay, that's your opinion. I that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I take.
And I know it's right, but that's fine. I'm
going to take Bryce. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's still, some time left.
And I love Bryce. I do. I've been a Bryce Harper fan since, when he was in high school and that whole thing coming out. What he did will never happen again, until CJ gets that age. But it's just, I am a big Bryce Harper fan. I'm just looking at the numbers, and I don't know.
Well,
it's tough.
We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. We're going to get to Paul Leffler here in just a sec, but before we do, you did see the Conor McGregor first pitch the other night, you did, correct?
Oh, the one where he threw it 50 feet to the right?
He's been out on the trail defending his pitch, which I'm a fan of Conor McGregor, I'm not going to lie. But he had the quote of the week. Yeah. Before we get to Paul, we're going to take a break for a second. But before we get his quote of the week, right? He put out an Instagram message, and you can go check it out on his Instagram page. But it was basically, put me in the Wrigley Hall of Fame for that rocket launch. I just thought that was hilarious. If you go read the full quote, it's so funny. But talking about how it's the hardest first pitch in the history of first pitches. The guy's just a character. I just thought it was too funny not to get out there. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get Paul Leffler on the line and talk a little Dogs football. Yes, football. So just stay with us just for a moment, and we will be back with the one and only voice of the Bulldogs, Paul Leffler.
Not there yet. 12 yards away from that north end zone. 23 ticks left. Hayner from the gun. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Here's that shotgun snap. Bruins rush 4. Swings it out to Rivers, right sideline. 15, trying to get out of bounds. Does at about the 11, so they only gain a yard.
Got out of bounds.
It'll be 2nd and 9, and there are 18 seconds left. Shotgun snap, blitz coming. Hayner for the corner, caught, Cropper! Touchdown, Fresno State! And with 14 seconds left in the Rose Bowl, the Bulldogs once again have recaptured the lead. Shotgun snap, Thompson Robinson dancing to his left. This is going to be the last play. Thompson Robinson looking to throw it as far as he can. The Hail Mary Flutie style on a line, tipped, and it falls incomplete. The Bulldogs storm the field, sprinting around the Rose Bowl, running toward the south end zone where some of their fans are breaking through the security line to celebrate with Fresno State.
Joining us now, the voice of the Bulldogs, Mr. Paul Leffler. Paul, how you doing?
I think I'm doing like everybody in the Valley's doing, man. Fired up after Saturday night. Was that unforgettable or what?
Well, I was going to ask you, where does that rank on your football radar all-time games?
You know, everybody keeps asking me that, and I don't know how to rank. You know, now I get it when I always ask these coaches, well, what was the greatest this? Who was your greatest center fielder? What was the best moment? You know, for me, I do think I've narrowed it down to top 3. Then I'll remember another one. But this one, the win over Boise State for the Mountain West Championship in 2018. And for me, the finish at Illinois in 2009 when the 2-point play, it's do or die. Pat Hill says, forget overtime, I'm going for the win. And everything that could go wrong did go wrong on that play, and it went so wrong it went right. And Devin Cunningham, the biggest guy on the field, as my Kraken voice said it way back then, falls across the line for the game-winning 2-point conversion. That moment was probably the most unexpected and unbelievable ever. So I have to have that in my top 3. But this one's right there. I mean, that was just a spectacular finish.
You know, I don't have Pac-12 Network, so I was on my phone, laying in bed, streaming your guys' call, and I got to say, you and Pat Hill and Cam, the dynamic is fantastic. I love that Cam can chip in at any moment while it's live. Like, most broadcasts, they send it down to the sideline reporter, and he's like got free reign to jump. It was really fun to listen to.
Well, and you're right. That's a great pickup on your part. Most broadcasts don't do that, but most broadcasts don't have Pat Hill and Cam Worrell. I mean, 2 guys who you can trust, who and they know what they're talking about. They love the program. And, it was something I've gotten used to over the years. Who really, we've talked about this before, Ray Ocanso really broke me into this, to have somebody on the air who is going to cheer, who's going to be fired up. And I'm trying to just, tell the story of the game, make sure the listeners know what's happening before we get excited about it. I know that if you're a Bulldog fan listening at home, when you hear Pat and Cam getting all excited and fired up and doing a little cheering, it feels like home. They're doing exactly what you're doing. So it's so authentic. It's not phony. It's not forced. It's not made up. So I'm going to try to tell you what's happening, and those guys are going to help you feel the emotion of it. Because they live, eat, breathe Bulldog football, and those moments mean so much to them. And it just makes it so much fun for me and for everybody else.
Yeah, you were very neutral. It was funny because there were moments where, they're chirping at the ref, bad call. I think it was a PI late on their final drive where UCLA scored, and you hear their displeasure with the refs. It was really fun to listen to, and I actually enjoyed it more. I heard that the Pac-12 commentary for the Oregon game was a little brutal and one-sided, so I'd rather listen to you guys. I was going to bring up, with this team, there's a lot of people excited about it right now, which is fantastic and great for Fresno State football, but you're seeing like a lot of distribution of the ball. Like there's a lot of guys contributing to the team. I think 9 rushing touchdowns from 5 different players. And then you've got 8 wide receivers with touchdowns. And then, Hayner's been incredible, over 1,400 yards in 4 games. Can you talk about some of the excitement of this team?
It is exciting. And just talking to Pat Hill this morning after visiting with Coach DeBoer, there hasn't been a team quite like this in a long time. The depth on this team, I think, exceeds even Pat's best teams. Maybe some of the first stringers might have a slight edge over this team if you look at like 2001. But the depth on this team is what is going to enable it to win a championship. Because if one guy goes down there's another guy right there. You look at what the defense did to UCLA, especially when the defense only has to be on the field for 20 minutes because the offense chewed up 40 minutes of clock. The depth they have on defense allows everybody to be fresh. So when the game is on the line, those guys are ready to play with abandon, with courage, with aggression. And this team is special. And on the offensive side of the ball, like you said, I mean, so many weapons. And when you have a guy who knows where to go with the ball, who can make that decision quickly and can deliver it accurately, I don't know how you defend this team. And, I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think you can look at every potential matchup this year, and it's dangerous to get ahead of yourself. But for what we know now, you can look at every game this year and say Fresno State should have a better defense than the other team and should have a better quarterback than the other team. And that's a combination that's going to win you a lot of games. There's some special sauce going on with this Bulldog team right now.
Yeah, 100%. Again, we're on with Paul Loeffler. Listen to the Dogs broadcast on Fox Sports AM 1340, the home of Fresno State. How's that transition been? Long time with the ESPN radio and now with Fox. How's that relationship and being new, how has that gone so far?
It's gone great. You never know what to expect. And, we were on KMJ for many years. Bulldog fans listened to them there forever. And when we left there for 940 ESPN, I didn't know what to expect. And that was a great experience. And everybody was all in. It was a great team. And now with this change, now Learfield has a bigger role in everything, but the team at Bulldog Sports Properties has been great. The team at iHeart, I was just down there talking to some of the guys. They're really gung-ho about this team. It's all hands on deck. You can listen to any iHeart station, music or otherwise. They're going to be talking about the Bulldogs. And even tonight, we're going to have a rebroadcast of that game. So anybody who was there at the Rose Bowl and didn't get to listen, or they were trying to watch Pac-12 Network, if they didn't hear Pat and Cam and everything that we had for 3 or 4 hours, they're going to get to hear that tonight. And there's some special cameos mixed in from, guys like Ronnie Rivers and Evan Williams and Jerry Dyer, our mayor, and, former Bulldogs and all kinds of people who I think are going to add just a little touch as you pick up pieces of that broadcast. But that rebroadcast tonight on Fox Sports 1340 and for the folks down in the Bakersfield area on 970, that's going to be tonight at 6 o'clock. And it's not too often you have a real compelling reason to rebroadcast a game, but that one I think certainly fits the bill. I want to know.
Yeah, I want to alienate my partner over here, Chad.
Yeah, no, Paul's voice is so soothing. I'm just enjoying it. But I want to know, when are we going to get a dang Fresno State channel in our town that can broadcast football games, baseball games, all these sports games? Because Fresno State's such a big, thing here. It would have been nice to watch the game and listen to you. Because I would obviously watch the game and then mute it and listen to you guys commentate. Well, there's so many factors in that. It's kind of complex when you go to the television rights and who has this, who has that. So there's not that many opportunities that there aren't national rights for, But when there are opportunities, I think you will see more of that. I think in basketball season this year, you'll probably see some more on local TV. And maybe even it'll incorporate some of what we're doing on the radio. And then potentially long term, I think some baseball games that there'll be that access. And we've seen it this year. The Fresno Grizzlies have had a lot more of their games on local TV, and what a great year they've had. So I know there is a market for it there, Chad. And so many of us grew up in the Valley with that opportunity. I mean, Ralph Wood, how many of our memories have Ralph Wood's voice attached to him, or Randy Rosenblum, who we got to see on our way to the Rose Bowl the other day, and he's as feisty as ever. That's great. And for fans to be able to grow up watching local television, local announcers for their team, and building those memories and that connection, I think that is valuable. So I think you're not the only one thinking that way, and where those opportunities arise, I think Fresno State's going to seize that moment. I hope so. I do.
I don't want to shift gears too far. You got the Dogs hosting UNLV Friday night, 7 p.m. It'll be on CBS Sports Network, but also catch it on the radio broadcasts, Fox Sports AM 1340 with Mr. Paul Loeffler. And I know you've got your schedule's insane. I'll never get over it. But you're going to go from football and into basketball, which will carry over into baseball. We had a recent call-up, which we shouted out right when we started, but Dylan Lee called up to the Braves yesterday. Can you just talk about how special that was? And one, watching him be a dog.
Oh, great young man. And really, he's had a journey. You guys know some of his story, and he's been through a lot. And to be 27 years old and finally have that dream come true when the talent has been evident. I mean, he was a great JC pitcher at Fresno State. He was on a team that I thought could have made a deep postseason run and had some real bad breaks in 2016 and maybe one of the worst breaks there. I'll never forget. I mean, one of the first things I think about with Dylan Lee is one of the most beautiful pitches I've ever seen thrown. It was the absolute perfect pitch that should have been a game-ending strikeout, and it was such a good tight slider that the umpire he blanked. He couldn't see it. He called it ball 4 instead of strike 3. It should have ended the game for the Dogs. Instead, it helped New Mexico rally and win, and that was a taste of things to come for that team that year. I'll never forget watching that, and I know that moments like that, when something happens that you don't have control of, it affects you, and you have a choice of how to handle it. And I know that if you look at the big picture now, Dylan has overcome every ounce of adversity, changing organizations, getting second chances, and to see him put on that historic Atlanta Braves jersey and be another Bulldog in the big leagues, it just fires you up, especially when you know the kind of person he is, that he already has a heart to give back to the community. He already has in many ways, and that he's going to continue to do that for a long time. When you see those kind of stories, Austin Wynns is a similar one. I mean, there's so many Bulldogs who've had those kind of journeys. The ultimate, perseverance guy, Jason Wood, and his story. I mean, you go Bulldog after Bulldog after Bulldog who earn their way to the big leagues and sometimes back to the big leagues. It just reminds you what the Valley's all about. And I couldn't be more thrilled for Dylan and hope we get to see him out there on major league mounds for a long, long time.
Yeah, I hope so too. As you said, he's never, talking to him throughout, the last couple of years since we've gotten to know him, he's never complained about it. He's never blamed anybody for it. He's just continued to put his head down and work and be humble. And again, I know we can get a little rambunctious on here and say things sometimes, but his faith really is the core of everything he does. And he's not a fake person. He's just a genuine guy. And I just couldn't have been more happy for him. How excited are you for baseball to come back around? I know you got some months till you're there, but for us, baseball never ends. So it's I want to ask the guy that has so much to do.
Well, baseball, you're right, it never ends, because if it's not the Diamond Dogs playing, it's the former Diamond Dogs killing it in the big leagues. I mean, I can't remember a time where so many former Bulldogs were doing so well in the bigs. Look at the year Judge is having, and look at the magic Luplo's made. And in a miserable season in Baltimore, Austin Wynns is getting stuff done. He just hit one over the Green Monster the other day. Taylor Ward had moments earlier this year. Justin Wilson just got his 500th big league strikeout. You just keep going and going and going. Here's Dylan with his chance to add to it. Jimmy Lambert got his first win.
Yep.
Not too long, we're going to see Ricky Tyler Thomas up there. He may be the next one.
Yeah, Jordan Brink's pushing the envelope.
That guy can bring it, man. You talk about some cheese. He's got some real juice on that fastball, and that would be another great story.
Absolutely. He's same kind of similar path where he's had to work his way back into affiliate baseball. No, you're not kidding. The tradition here is fantastic, and you've got the best seat in the house.
Well, you guys should come up and sit with me sometime this next baseball season. We'll have you on the broadcast. That'd be a lot of fun. And that's the other piece of it. So if it's not the team or the former Bulldogs in the big leagues, it's, honoring some of those guys as they come back. Just a couple weeks ago, we had a Rayo Canto Memorial Golf Tournament to benefit the Central California Food Bank. He had teammates flying in. Greg Funk came from Arizona. John O'Leary came from Bakersfield, just to honor his memory. And you see that Bulldog baseball family. There's Coach Rupsich out there. He's banged up. He's got a sleeve on his cap, but he's golfing 18 to honor Ray and reminding us of that Bulldog baseball brotherhood. Mark Gardner, same thing, And I hope sometime this year, boys, that we'll have a chance to really honor Bob Bennett the right way at stadium because it was the pandemic when Coach Bennett passed. Yes, there was a great memorial service, but there wasn't something at the ballpark that he literally built where all of his former players could come back and we could celebrate his legacy there. So I hope this next season brings us that opportunity. And just, with losing Fibber Hirayama last week, another Bulldog legend, you're just reminded again, Fresno State baseball, find me another program in the country that can have the breadth and depth and power of history and connection that program has.
Yeah, Chad.
It's a lot.
Chad's a long time, longer than me. Grew up going there as a youngster. So no, I couldn't agree more. Paul, I appreciate you taking time on a Thursday. I know you had a prior obligation that you moved just for us. Maybe we'll say that anyway. But thank you again. We love listening to you. We're big fans. We've got to get you we got to get you in here live, face to face, and do another bit when you have some time. Maybe next summer when you get a little bit of a break.
I think we should get a really good BP picture, and the three of us can have a live hit or die home run derby.
A River Park Little League?
Yes, let's do it. And let's tie one of Chad's arms behind his back. I would say let's tie
Still not fair.
No, let's tie the right one. Yeah, tie that front hand behind his back, and maybe we can get him.
Yeah, because you can't switch him around. He can do it from both sides of the plate. So, Paul, I appreciate you taking time to do this. Again, the Dog's on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. versus UNLV. Catch their broadcast on Fox Sports AM 1430. Paul, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Be safe out there, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, keep up the great work, guys. Hit or die.
Thank you, sir. I mean, Chad, come on. How do you not love Paul Leffler?
Hey, am I breaking up at all? Or
you were. Hey, we're still live, though.
You are too, a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
It's the phone connection,
he was
bro.
clear. He was clear as day, though. I love listening to Paul. That's what I'm saying is, like, it sucks that the game wasn't on, the UCLA game. Well, I couldn't see it, but because I would actually love watching it and then listening to them.
You had the K-Free, remember the K-Free or the C-Dub 59 or whatever it was, broadcast the Cal Poly game?
But the camera angles were terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was a rough broadcast. No, I mean, it's exciting to see.
It was like watching Friday Night Lights. It's high school football. You're not going to get – well, you're watching a Division I football game. We've got to figure it out.
Well, and especially as the talk continues, as they continue to win. I know they're trying. We want to pack the place out. Nationally ranked number 22 in the AP poll. It's big, man. It's been a long time since there's been this much hype around Bulldog football.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get the Barstool guys on. I know it's talking to them. It's been a while since they had started the social media apps, and I don't. How much of Barstool do you follow?
I follow a lot the actual original Barstool. I follow it. It was funny. He was watching on this last Sunday. He put a video out there. He was betting on some of the NFL games. He was actually wearing a Fresno State football shirt in the video, the head of the Barstool.
Yeah, I know. Dave cool. Portnoy, yeah. El Prez.
Yeah, El Prez. He was wearing one of the shirts. So I like, watching his stuff, and I follow it. And then obviously the Dog Barstool, because we're big supporters of Fresno State, and we're probably the biggest supporter of Fresno State in the area for the podcast.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to that. We've done a lot of baseball, Fresno State, but Chris Herron, Cam Morwell, Haley Dulcini.
It doesn't stop. We have another, humongous guest that we're waiting for time that are great Fresno State. I mean, we just support local, and that's our university where we're from, and we try to support it as much as we can, and we love the Dogs.
That is a fact. Hey, we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to get Dogs Barstool, the Fresno.
The Dog Father.
The dog.
I like
well,
calling him the dog father.
The Green
We'll
V
we'll figure
Express.
out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as soon as we get back. So don't go anywhere. We will be back with the Barstool Dogs Barstool.
Fresno State's put it on UCLA. Got all up in it. Pushing them around the lines of scrimmage. Jake Hayner. Pew, 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 pew. William Inns, the defensive coordinator, said, everybody just get in all the gaps. Up front, just get up there. Don't let him run. Make this kid try to beat us with his arm. He couldn't do it. This Fresno State team is for real. And how about...
Hey, bring your ass on. Bring your ass on in your little sissy blue shirt.
What's up, everybody? We're back, and we're joined by the @Dogs Barstool social media account, Twitter and Instagram. Trying to keep it anonymous. We're gonna roll with the Dog Father. Welcome to the podcast. We are live. Real quick, I wanted to see, can you kind of take us to where this started with the Dogs Barstool account?
So, up to a couple schools in the Northeast before they, kind of went nationwide to expand the brand. And from there, each school was basically, they basically just shot out an email or a flyer on Instagram, whatever, and said, hey, if you want to run an account for your school through Barstool Sports to expand the brand, reach out. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember when exactly it was, I got in touch with headquarters, set up, the Instagram account, the Twitter account, and basically started growing it from there, naturally through whether it be content submitted through, students on campus or just Fresno State content in general. So it's very hands-on with, headquarters, and we talk to Barstool HQ every day. And from there, we just kind of, ran with it. It's basically not really a fine line, but it's a merging of two things where, you want the party aspect and, the fun aspect behind things, but we also have to keep the sports, the main focus of this account. And it appears to be doing pretty well as of late.
Well, yeah, you got a little bit, you got a lot of hype with the football team. Not hype, they're playing well. They're playing like one of the better teams in the country and ranked 22 by the AP poll, which is rightfully deserved. Talk about your personal history with the Dogs. Like, how much and how far back do you go with Fresno State football or any Fresno State athletics in general? Did we lose you? Chad, are you there? Well, I mean, man, you there?
Softball.
There we go.
Yeah, he's going.
Yeah,
you can't hear him, Jake?
Yeah, we just lost connection for just a minute. Sorry, guys. First timers here.
Yeah, basically, grew up going to every sporting event Fresno State had, from, the Tark days at Cylinder Arena to, baseball games in the early 2000s. And I honestly can't remember the first Fresno State game I went to, whether it be a home game or traveling to bowl games. You know, the family's pretty rich in Fresno State sports.
And how much have you seen the growth, I mean, especially since football started with the Instagram account and the Twitter account?
I just feel like we get a bigger push in the fall because of sports. Football is always the biggest push. It doesn't matter if it's Fresno State or, you know, any other school in the nation that has a football team. You're always going to get growth around that time if you're staying active. But just in the last, 3 weeks alone, with almost upsetting Oregon, who has a decent account when you're talking smack to them online, you're trolling. That trolling gets clicks, gets numbers. And so talking to the Oregon account, and then us upsetting UCLA last week, if they want to call it an upset, we kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, nationwide, people were talking about it, and we, just started rolling and gained quite a few hundred followers in the past, 2 weeks or so. So, football is definitely a driving factor, and it honestly helps when the, team's playing like they are.
How much fun is it when you have to come up with trolling and talking smack too? How much research goes into the other, like their account? You look at it or any of that when you go to talk smack?
I mean, it actually quite a bit, but it's a fun thing to do. Like I said, we do, and for the most part have kept it anonymous for the past few years. I brought someone else on within the past year, to help me just with, keeping up the daily quotas and numbers and whatnot. And both of us are really rich in sports, but also paying attention to other schools. So, the smack talk thing, it is fun, but you got to be quick-witted on your feet. When it's when it's a live game. But no, we'll do some research and see what we can come up with.
You also got to be willing to wear it when if you lose from time to time.
Oh, for sure. And that's call it hiding behind a keyboard, but that's what's fun about the anonymous part. But yeah, no, it's it's fair game when it's out there online. Everyone, you still got a reputation to rep this account, and I feel like we're doing a decent job with that.
Yeah, I think the last.
I feel like too when you
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say I feel like too when you're pretty much the main school that with Pat Hill, anybody, anytime, anywhere, you kind of almost have to take that with the account as well. Like you'll challenge anybody, anytime, anywhere, with the smack talk and everything, even on the Barstool account. Just because that's what our school is known for. And I know a lot of other schools have tried saying that. I know Cam Worrell really takes it personal when he sees it. But yeah, we're pretty much the school that, pretty much founded that phrase, and you kind of have to back it up too with the account.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I grew up watching Cam play in the early 2000s, and that's kind of when, anybody anytime anywhere came around, whether it be Oregon State at home, going to Wisconsin, 2001, 2002, I believe, I can't remember exactly. And, that's ingrained in my mind. Mm-hmm. This account is no different because this account is Fresno State football.
Right. It's not somebody that has no history with the Dogs.
Yeah, no, we can go back many years, even before I was around, and this team, it means something to us. So I feel like that also benefits us and how we run the account.
I know that Fresno State Barstool's into the gambling scene, and I think the total here, they're talking 58 for Friday night's game. Are you over under? I think this was a 30.5. They're getting 30.5 on the spread.
They're getting 30.5. Wish California would figure out their
yeah
deal, but you know what I'm talking about. But no, 30.5. I mean, my guess was 4 scores after looking at how bad they lost to Iowa State,
right?
And then our offense is just flat out unbelievable right now. Hayner's putting up Heisman numbers. The receivers are just playing out of their mind. Rivers is getting hot again. I think we could honestly put up 31.5. I hope it's not going to be like or I have a feeling it could be like a UConn where, boom, 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 you're up quick. Granted, we don't let UConn score, but the same thing could happen with, God, who was it last? Army. Army was up 42-0 on UConn at halftime last week on a 33-point spread. UConn scores 3 or 4 scores late, backdoor cover on the, positive side for them. But, I hope that doesn't happen. I honestly think, judging by this offense and UNLV's track record this year, it could be a Cal Poly type score.
I'm with you. I'm with
You're
you.
flipping the coin there.
Yeah.
I think the first half is a hot bet, though.
The other thing I wanted to ask, we talked about this a little yesterday when we were on the phone talking about bowl season. I saw some projections. The Barstool Arizona Bowl is hosting the Mountain West Conference, a Mountain West Conference team. Mm-hmm. And while we do want to see the Dogs go beyond that, just to be involved in that would be a blast.
It would be absolutely wild. Everyone, all the big names will be there. Hopefully Big Cat, ends up parachuting out of a plane or that's still legit on the table. Yeah, it would be an absolute blast to go to that bowl game. But at the same time, we've raised the bar.
Right.
And, I want to be in that, hate to say it, but with the old Vegas Bowl, the LA Bowl, we deserve to play a Pac-12 team because we know we can play against them. Right now it's looking like Washington and Utah potentially sneaking into that 6th spot. Dogs got a good chance to beat that if we went out,
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking, I saw that we talked about it a little yesterday, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. It's in Inglewood.
It's in the new Rams Charger Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't want to go there, do we? We want to win, right? We want to be in the we want to win the Mountain West, but I don't know.
But I also want to have a fun bowl game.
Yeah, the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl doesn't sound too fun. And I got another football question for you. Because Chad and I, we talk a lot of baseball. Chad hates that a lot of times catchers don't get charged with error. Well, they don't get charged with errors as far as, pass balls or balls in the dirt, stuff like that. And I saw Carr through an interception, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was game 1. And it hit off some dude's helmet.
Yep.
And I'm a fantasy guy. Like, I hate that the quarterback gets charged a pick on a deflection.
Oh, for sure.
We got to change this rule in the stat book.
You got to change that rule for the quarterback. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe Peyton Manning in the Manning and Manning Monday night deal that him and Eli have now. They're talking about drop balls, and he's like, "Why is that a stat?" Or no, not drop balls. Sorry, it was targets. There's so many variables that go into say a target, say a guy ball hitting him in the head in the Raiders game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fine lines that don't actually show up on the stat sheet. And you get that a lot in any sport, whether it be football or, baseball with the pass balls and whatnot. Yeah, don't know how you want to change the rule, but is it going to benefit the quarterback or is it going to take away from the receivers?
What do you do, Chad? Do you call it a turnover?
I
It's just a turnover?
I say you just don't hit the guy in the helmet.
Well, I'm saying like a deflection, like it hits off the receiver's hands, right? Hits off, or a lineman knocks it 30 feet into the air. Come on.
Yeah, well, that's just what's hard about changing a rule that, because the quarterback threw it and the guy that ultimately caught it was the other team. And that's just how it is. Like, if the other team catches it, it's an interception. I think it's a shitty rule. But it is the rule, and there's no way. Who are you going to give the interception to? The receiver? So at the end of the year, receivers have interceptions, no touchdowns. You know what I mean? It's just difficult because the quarterback's the ones that's throwing the ball, and we're this far along. 100+ years in NFL. It's a stat, and I think all the greats will tell you they're okay with they're okay with it. I don't think Brady's going to be pissed off. Because he's got 6, 7 Super Bowls or whatever, He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I need it for my fantasy stats, Chad. I
don't care about your fantasy. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't, like Derek Carr, like if you tell them, all right, you're going to have, 2 interceptions every game for the rest of your career, but you'll go to 5 Super Bowls, and you know what I mean? Like, if you give the option of winning and interceptions, I mean, they're going to take winning over interceptions. And I just think yeah, exactly. So I think quarterbacks understand that happens. It's just like, in baseball with strikeouts and, earned runs. That's a big thing with earned runs, So
or like a pitcher
why doesn't the earned run that go to the defensive guy that made the error? You know what I mean? It's like, how do you do that in a sack?
Or like a pitcher that gets it and there's no decision through 6, 7, or 8 in a 0-0 game, and they end up winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we'll take the W. I mean, you're right. I just brought it up because it sucks for fantasy. Like, I get screwed. It seems to always happen to me.
I stopped playing fantasy football last year, so I don't care anymore. I just want Derek Carr to win and do good, and he will. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, and he gets no credit for it.
I don't think any of the senior top 5 quarterbacks look at the numbers, in passing yards in the past month.
Yeah, and I mean, if you talk to Derek Carr,
they're both number 1 in the nation.
Yep. If you talk to Derek Carr, he wants to win. He's a bulldog. He wants to win. He doesn't care about stats. If he had to hand the ball off to Jacobs 80 times a game and throw the ball 10 times and they win, he would do it.
Yep.
So I just feel like at that level and the competitiveness of a pro, they don't really. I don't think stats matter as much as winning the game.
No, you're 100% right. That's the point of sport. Like, you're competing to win. Yeah. That's ultimately what it is. In the Super Bowl, again, when the Patriots beat the Rams, like, the stats weren't great, but he still they all got their rings.
Yeah, I mean, that same Super Bowl, look at Vinatieri. Yeah, he drained the game winner, but he also missed 2 or 3 in the first half.
Yeah, you're right.
No one's going to talk about that.
Yeah, no, and it just comes down to dubs. Oh, you're right. I'm talking shit because it's fantasy, man. It always seems to happen like late. I any points I can get, I need to get, and then it's a garbage time pick, and that's it. So
what's the definition of the word fantasy? It's a made up thing, right, or something. I'm just digging deep. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, we're with Dogs Barstool, the dog father, as we will call him. Go follow him at Dogs Barstool on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's blow this thing up. Barstool is a fantastic company. I love all their stuff. I watch it on YouTube. I follow them on all my platforms. And it will let you go with this, Mr. Dogfather. I know the Emmys were last weekend, and I didn't watch them. I guarantee you didn't watch them. There's no way there's no way El Prez, Mr. Dave Portnoy, should not have won an Emmy for his unboxing series on YouTube during the pandemic.
Hands down, that was the most entertaining thing to come out of quarantine.
I mean, like, I was glued. Yeah. I watched, rewatched, and I still go back and watch. Dave Portnoy should have gotten an Emmy.
State shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, he was wearing that on Sunday.
Oh yeah, no, he's a huge Dogs fan.
And
he has been because since the Pat Hill era.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to. That was a deserved Emmy. He got the shaft on that. I will take that to my grave. But listen, this has been fun, man. We want to keep doing this, bring you on as much as we can throughout all the dog seasons in sports, baseball, basketball, whatever we can do. I love your social media account. Keep the trolling. I've seen you already started on UNLV. Let's pack the Dog Stadium tomorrow night, 7 p.m. They host UNLV. It's the Mountain West opener. So let's go Dogs, man.
Go Dogs.
I appreciate it, and we will be in touch. We'll do this again.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At Dogs Barstool. Go follow. Instagram,
the Dog
Twitter.
Father.
Yeah,
what was the other one?
The other one was the Green V Express.
All right. Well, let's put it out there for our live guest, the Dog Father, and I know our guest, he likes the Green V Express. Let's put those two out there and see what we come up with.
Yeah, we can put a poll up.
Dog Father. I like the Dog Father just because it's like that. You're it. You're the top. You're the man. But the Green V Express is good too. So I mean, we can put it out there. If anybody wants to give us feedback, give us feedback.
Yeah, I just love that that they're in, man, and they're repping the dogs. It's fun, dude. It's fun to count. It's fun to see them troll. It's fun to see them get after other teams. And like I said, it already started with UNLV. So go follow at Dogs Barstool on Twitter, at Dogs Barstool on Instagram. Chad, I think we did it, man. Our first live episode. I don't know how great it was, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I wish we could have been together like we normally are. I hope it turned out good. I hope everybody enjoyed it and everybody enjoys it after listening to it. Obviously on all our platforms, it will be out there after we finish live. But yeah, I mean, how can you not want to talk to Paul Leffler? And then if you're not a Bulldog fan, or if you are a Bulldog fan, there's no way you shouldn't be following Dogs Barstool Sports and their account and getting after the content.
Yeah, no, 100%. Go follow those guys. Go follow the dogs. Let's try to get out to the games as much as you can. Support the teams. We want to have good teams, and it takes filling up those stadiums, man. Again, Fresno State, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., they host UNLV. It'll be on CBS SN, and you can listen to it on Fox Sports AM 1430. Paul Leffler, Mr. Pat Hill, the legend, and Cam Worrell. And Killa Cam. Go catch us on Twitter at HIT.OR.DIE Podcast, on Instagram at HIT.OR.DIE. Follow us on YouTube there. Go subscribe. The YouTube challenge is in its 8th month, and we're going strong. And also go get
you want to congratulate our winner real quick for Thumb Pro?
I know you did it on. I did it on, with Thumb Pro. We didn't get thousands upon thousands. I actually got some messages of people.
No, we actually got 10,000.
Yeah, it was like 10,000. Chloe Wright of Meridian, Idaho, who she was the only one that turned in multiple swings, and so we gave it to her. She's
even though she's a Dodger fan, we still
I know.
did that. So
it's rough.
We don't discriminate.
I will say her dad holding the camera right in front of her was brave. No way in hell I'm doing that. No way. Also, Thumb Pro. Go to baseballthumbguard.com. Get 15% off using code HIT.OR.DIE. Free shipping and a free cinch bag. And lastly, before we go, Chad, Fresno City starts tomorrow. Baseball?
Yeah, we got a doubleheader against Delta. Delta's always a powerhouse in the Big 8 up in Northern California with a lot of D1 guys. And the first game starts at 11 a.m. That's probably going to be more of the starters, the starting 9 guys, and then the second game will be probably around 1. But I'm super excited about it. It's going to be fun to play somebody else, see where we really are right now. I know it's only September 23rd, but we'll at least see where we are as terms of how hard we're working.
So if you got time, go out there to Fresno City and catch the Rams go tomorrow with the doubleheader. You got the Dogs tomorrow night, and more HIT.OR.DIE podcast coming up. We'll have another guest next week, and then hopefully we set up a big one the following week. So stay with us. We will keep going live. We will keep you posted when we do so. If you listen live today, thank you so much. If you're listening to this after we broadcast, again, thank you so much. That is the first HIT.OR.DIE Live with Jake and Chad, the HIT.OR.DIE podcast.
HIT.OR.DIE.